Hi there, welcome to what will hopefully be the first of many videos on this channel. You join me in my 2021 Kia E-Niro that I recently purchased second-hand with 38,000 kilometers on the clock. It's now up to 41,440 at this very moment. And today I'm going to be driving it all the way from my home in Warrandyte South to Albury on the Victoria-New South Wales border. And hopefully I'm going to get there all the way there without stopping to charge. So I'll get all the way on one charge. If not, that's fine. There's several other charges scattered along the Hume Highway between here and Albury. But it's more just the challenge of trying to get there on one charge and really pushing the car to see how far it can get on one charge. I've looked it up using the A Better Route Planner app, and basically it says if I can keep the consumption to 180 watt hours per kilometre or less, we should be able to do it. And based on my somewhat limited experience driving this car on 110 kilometre an hour highways, I reckon that would still be possible. I've seen it do 150 watt hours per kilometre around town, and on the highway I'm pretty sure I've seen it do about 170, so we should have a tiny little bit to spare. But whatever happens, we'll find out as we go. Now, when you go from Warrandyte to Albury or anywhere up the Hume, it's actually faster to weave through sort of countryish back roads until you join on with the Hume further north of Melbourne, rather than going into the city and then joining onto it. So unfortunately, it will be a little while before I'm on the proper highway doing 110. It'll be driving along roads like this for a while, but I'll catch up with you once we get on the highway and we'll see how we go. Okay, so we're now 7.3 kilometers away from the on-ramp to the highway, and one aspect is looking very good and another aspect is looking pretty bad. So the car is saying we have 386 kilometers of range left, and we only have another 262 kilometers now to get to Albury. So by looking at that, you'd think we'll easily make it. It's perfectly fine. But we haven't been on the highway doing 110 yet. It's been a fair bit of 100, and before that a lot of 60s and 80s, and it's sort of been weaving roads and stuff, so it's been a bit different. So our efficiency is probably going to get worse when we get on the highway and just sit on 110. And currently our efficiency so far has been 181 watt hours per kilometre. So it's going to have to get worse than that, because we'll be on the highway, which should mean we'll end up blowing it out and not be able to make it. But we'll see. We've now done 61.4 kilometres in about an hour, and we're now about to get on the highway. The car charge is now down to 85%. We left with 100%, but it's now down to 85. And yeah, so not feeling super confident now, but we'll get on the highway and see what happens. I will reset the trip computer on here as soon as we get on the highway, so we can have a proper number of what the efficiency was and everything like that of actual highway driving. But we'll see how we go. Okay.
Turn right onto the National Highway M31 ramp, then merge onto National Highway M31.
Here we go, getting onto the highway. So we're just driving up the on-ramp now and getting up to speed. 110. And now
continue on National Highway M31 for 250 kilometers.
Okay, just reset this, so it's at 0 kilometers, no efficiency and 0 time traveled. So we'll have a look at this again later and see how we go. But for now there's another 254 kilometers of highway driving. Should take 2 hours and 28 minutes. So we'll just drive along here and see how it goes. So, 18 minutes into the highway driving, and something fairly weird has happened. The efficiency is 145 watt hours per kilometre, which is a lot lower than the 180 we were getting before the highway. So somehow, since I reset the trip computer when we got on the highway, the efficiency has improved. So if it keeps along like this, we'll make it to Albury quite easily. But it shouldn't. Everything about EVs, everyone always says when you drive faster, they're meant to do worse efficiently. Because there's the aerodynamics, so they're using a lot more energy to push the air out of the way of the car. And in fact, my car has an extra little light bar at the front of it that's probably making the aerodynamics worse. But somehow, 144 watt hours per kilometre. That seems crazy. We've done 34 kilometres now, so it's not like we've just been going downhill the whole time. There's been ups and downs. Maybe there's a really strong tailwind or something, but we're going along very well. So we'll see if we can keep this up. So we're just driving past the exit for Euroa there to go off to the town of Euroa. And I know in Euroa there's a service station just up the highway here where you can get off, and there's several DC fast chargers you can use. But the car's certainly still saying 264 kilometres of range left, with 165 kilometres left to Albury on the map. And if we press the button to pull up the EV information, the car's still on 60% charge, so we have plenty of power left to keep going. There's several more places we could stop further north if we had to, but for now we can certainly skip Euroa. So we've now been on the highway for 1 hour and 20 minutes. We've driven 144 kilometres on the highway, and the efficiency has gone up to 181 watt hours per kilometre. But because it's been so good for a portion of the drive, it seems like we could make it. The car's still saying 183 kilometres of range, and it's 110 kilometres left on the map to get to the charger in Albury. And if we check what charge we're on 44% charge, so it's certainly going down, but we still have 181 kilometres of range, so it should be okay. About to pass through Benalla, and there is a charger in the town of Benalla. Not super convenient because you have to go into the town, but we really don't need to stop there. There are a few more chargers we could stop at if we absolutely had to, but we certainly won't stop in Benalla, because at the moment it's seeming like we probably could still make it to Albury on the one charge, but we'll see how we go. And only a little bit down the road, and we've just passed the exit for Glenrowan, and I believe somewhere along here, we must be very close to it, there's a BP service station on the side of the road. Yeah, that might be 2 kilometres away, and that has a BP Pulse DC fast charger, and that's actually kind of the one I was planning to maybe stop at if I couldn't make it, but the car's still saying 142 kilometres of range left, and we only have 89 kilometres to make it to Albury, so we'll skip this one and push ahead. There are a few more chargers, some in other parts that we could stop at if we can't quite make it to Albury, but they're a bit slower and stuff, so it would be nice to stop at the BP if we can't make it to Albury, but I reckon we will ignore it, go straight past it, and try and get to Albury. There it is, there's the sign 2 kilometres to the service station with the BP, but we won't stop there. So we're up to the interesting bit now. There's 18 minutes to go, 25 kilometres further. That's to get right into Albury and get to the charger. And the car's saying 52 kilometres. So it does seem like we can make it. We're just about to go past the stop at Barnawartha North, which is a very popular stop along the Hume for a lot of EVs to stop and charge. Although currently their fastest ones are not functioning and it's only the 50 kilowatt ones that are available, but we could certainly stop there if we had to, but we can hopefully make it. So we'll skip that one and see what happens. And the Hume Highway has just turned into an 80 zone. Nope, never mind, back to 110. Thought we were here, but we're not. And
Take the B400 exit, then turn left onto Lincoln Causeway.
we are now 150 metres from the exit. Looks like this one. So we have officially made it to Albury. There's still 4.7 kilometres to go to actually get to the charger. The car's saying 30 kilometres of range, and that will probably improve now that
Turn
we're only
left onto
driving around
Lincoln
town
Causeway,
in Albury.
C319, signs
So,
for Albury.
There you go. Kia E-Niro can certainly make it to Albury without charging. Obviously you have to be fully charged before you leave.
Continue for
And
4 kilometres.
You probably have to not have the air conditioner on. It's getting a bit hot in here now. So maybe if you want to have the air conditioner on, you just stop somewhere else. And obviously now we certainly have to charge in Albury, but it can make it from Melbourne to Albury. And we're crossing the border into New South Wales now. So it says welcome to New South Wales. Car says 28 kilometres of range left. I did actually just turn the air conditioner on because it's very hot in here. And we're only 1.7 kilometres from the charger. 3 minutes to go. So on the time that we were on the highway doing 110, we drove 253.6 kilometres. We averaged 183 watt hours per kilometre, and we spent 2 hours and 22 minutes driving. And if we flip here, yes, to see this current drive, in total we drove 321.22
In 400
now
metres,
kilometres.
at the roundabout, continue straight to stay on Wodonga Place.
And our average efficiency for the entire trip was 182 watt hours per kilometre as well. So basically no different being on the highway versus sort of country roads. That probably makes sense. We were going reasonably fast and there were steep hills and stuff and bends to slow down for and speed back up. So maybe that makes sense. Anyway, it was all about the same efficiency. And the total drive time was 3 hours and 28 minutes. So now we know all of that. We're 2 minutes and 800 metres away from the charger. So we'll go and charge up. There's a Tesla sign. There they are. Oh, they're everywhere. Okay, we'll just go on this one then. Okay, so we've made it to the version 4 Tesla supercharger in Albury. I couldn't check the state of charge of the car before because I was driving, I needed the map. After about a month of owning this car, my biggest complaint is probably you can't see the charge on the dashboard anywhere. You have to press the EV button down here and have it pull up on the screen. So then you lose your navigation or whatever you had up there. So it's a bit annoying, but we can now see we arrived with 8% to spare. Not a lot, but certainly enough to get us here. And I had the air conditioner running the last few minutes. So we're all done. We made it here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.